Hey everyone, I'm John. Welcome back to another episode of Boone Wildlife. Birds are perhaps one of my most favorite animals to film, and the main reason for that is because they're very reliable. No matter what time of year, no matter what weather conditions, I always seem to find birds. Just like right now, there's some Canada geese right above me. They're pretty loud, but yeah, birds are the most reliable of all the animals that I film. I always find them, whether it's the dead of winter, the middle of summer. I can always find some kind of bird to find, film, and just watch and appreciate. So for this video, I decided to make a little two-part series showcasing all of the amazing bird species, or almost all at least, the amazing bird species that I've been able to find and film out here in the wild of New Jersey, a little bit of Pennsylvania, Florida, Massachusetts. I found some incredible species and gotten some pretty interesting behaviors. So I hope you guys enjoy and be sure to subscribe. Of all creation, birds seem to hold a special place in our hearts. For as long as we've walked the earth, us humans have admired and envied their ornate plumage, melodious songs, and ability to freely take to the skies. There are over 800 species of avian that can be found in every habitat this country has to offer, each with its own unique features that allow them to survive. Flight is one of the most interesting characteristics of birds, and the one that man has been captivated by. Bound to the earth, we often look up at them, dreaming of a day where we can join them in the sky. Blaines, along with several other inventions, drew inspiration from the anatomy of birds. Hollow bones, streamlined bodies, wing shape, and feathers grant birds this amazing ability. Feathers are unique to birds and vary in size, shape, and color, depending on the bird's habitat and lifestyle. Feathers are made of keratin, the same protein that makes up our hair and fingernails. Down feather, often seen on baby birds, are for warmth, and as the birds mature, they grow in flight feathers. Most water-dwelling birds have waterproof feathers. Ducks, for instance, have a gland at the base of their tail that produces a hydrophobic oil, which is then spread across the duck's plumage while preening. Preening is a grooming process where birds will clean and spread oils across their feathers. This is an essential part to life as a bird. If they don't take the time to clean out their feathers, it can affect their ability to fly and regulate body temperature. Along with preening, birds will also take baths in order to rid their feathers of dust and parasites. Flight broadens the horizon for birds, allowing them to travel virtually anywhere. Many birds are migratory, meaning that they travel to different locations for breeding or to avoid the frigid winter. Migration is one of nature's many miracles. Each year, some birds will travel thousands of miles to reach their destination. Even more amazing is how birds can find their way. Even young birds who have never been to their winter grounds seem to find their way there. Birds can navigate using landmarks, stars, the sun, and from sensing the Earth's magnetic field. Traveling together is another way to ensure that you all make it to the same spot. There are 4 migration routes in the United States known as flyways. There's the Pacific, Central, Mississippi, and Atlantic. On their journey, birds will stop every now and then to rest and feed in places known as stopovers. These stopovers are a refuge for some birds, but an opportunity for others. In the United States, no bird is more iconic than the symbol of our nation, the bald eagle. In the past few decades, this eagle has become a fairly common sight throughout the lower 48, but this wasn't always the case. At one point, these raptors were nearly extinct. Chemicals such as DDT infected their food supply. The chemical didn't always immediately kill the birds, but they would make it very difficult to reproduce. Thin eggshells that could not support the growing embryo were one of the results of these harmful pollutants. Today, eagles can once again be seen freely roaming the skies across our great nation. They can be found in every state except Hawaii. The eagle lives wherever there's water, including swamps, lakes, marshlands, and reservoirs. There are approximately 71,400 known nesting pairs in the United States, with about 255 being found here in New Jersey. Bald eagles construct the largest nests of any bird, with the world record being 20 feet tall and 9 feet wide. I'm lucky enough to locate an eagle's nest in early spring. For the next few months, both parents will work hard to incubate eggs and care for the young. Like most birds, eagles communicate through a series of calls. If you've never heard an eagle call before, this might surprise you, as it is quite different than the Hollywood version. In many films, the call of the red-tailed hawk is often used for eagles. Speaking of the red-tail, these common raptors are also widespread and often construct their nests in eagle territory. This can occasionally result in small territorial disputes. In this instance, the more agile hawk drives the eagle away. Soaring high, the eagle searches for prey with eyesight around 8 times stronger than our own. A group of birds known as waterfowl share habitat with the eagle and are a stable source of prey. Waterfowl are a family of birds that consists of swans, geese, and ducks. Ducks, like many birds, have sexual dichromatism. This means that male and female of the same species sport different colors. Male ducks, known as drakes, are more vibrant than females, known as hens. The drake's colors are used to attract hens, while the hen's more drab plumage is used as camouflage during the nesting season. There are 2 groups of ducks in the wild, dabblers and divers. Dabblers, sometimes called puddle ducks, feed in shallow water. The legs of dabbling ducks are positioned more towards the center of their body, allowing them to take off straight from the water. They'll often forage on the surface and in mudflats. However, sometimes they'll have to search deeper for food. This pintail upends its body to reach aquatic plant life at the bottom of the pond. He won't stay under for too long, as this is a vulnerable position. Ducks are rarely seen foraging alone during the migration season. Safety in number is a critical survival tactic. The northern shoveler, sometimes referred to as spoonbill, is easily identified by its large spatulated bill. These shoveler drakes appear to be hens, however, they are just going through their eclipse phase. Ducks will shed their feathers about twice a year, making them temporarily flightless. When this happens, drakes will lose their colors in order to better blend into the environment. Teal are the smallest of American dabbling ducks. Our wetlands are home to 2 species, the green and blue-winged teal. Teal are prized amongst waterfowl hunters, often claimed to be the best tasting of wild ducks. One of the largest, and easily most common of American dabbling ducks, is the mallard, sometimes referred to as greenheads. Unlike some of these other species, mallards are very easy to find, as they are adaptable and live in all sorts of aquatic habitats. I've even seen them foraging in roadside ditches. The mallard's famous quack call is typically only performed by the hen. Similar in appearance to the hen is the American black duck. The ornate wood duck is a species of tree duck. This pair lives up to the family name as they roost up high on a lofty branch. Diver ducks, such as this bufflehead, forage in deeper water. Their legs are positioned toward the back of their body, which help them swim around. This adaptation, however, comes at a cost. Unlike dabblers, which can take off straight from the water, divers need to get a running start. Mergansers are a kind of diving duck better designed for pursuing fish. They have serrated bills which allow them to hold slippery prey. The common merganser is the largest U.S. species. The hooded merganser, sometimes called hoodies, are the smallest of United States mergansers. The drakes are often confused for buffleheads due to their large white head crests. This black duck is a surf scotter. Scotters are a kind of sea duck, a group of waterfowl that have specialized glands in their bills that allow them to drink salt water. Eiders are another species of sea duck. These common eider hens rest on the sandbar, as a drake rests further down. Since they're fairly clumsy on land, they'll wait out here until the tide rises. Eiders are known for their warm down feathers, known as eider down. The goose is a larger relative of the duck and is usually seen feeding alongside them. The Canada goose is the most common of North American geese, being found across Canada and in 49 of our 50 states. In late spring, baby geese, known as goslings, will leave the nest to explore their home range with mom and dad. Canada geese are primarily herbivores, meaning they feed on vegetation. These goslings have found some delicious leaves that have floated down the river. A long morning of foraging tuckers out the goslings, so they huddle together for an afternoon nap. Back at the eagle's nest, we can see this flightless juvenile looking out across its territory. The young eagles are fairly safe up in this tree, but not all birds are so lucky. Throughout the summer, the number of goslings may decrease. Try as they may, the parents cannot keep them safe from everything. Nesting alone comes with many risks, which is why some birds stick together. In New Jersey's coastal marshlands, a variety of wading birds rear their young here on a small forested island. These nesting colonies are known as rookeries, and it is here where we can find one of the most majestic of American birds, the great egret. Each year, the egrets return to this island to breed, construct a nest, and raise their young. The male egret will pick the nesting spot, and it is there where he will perform a ritualistic dance to attract a mate. Egrets are seasonally monogamous, which means that they will remain with one mate each breeding season. Once he wins over a female, construction of the nest begins. Months later, the eggs hatch, and the small, green-skinned babies begin to beg their parents for food. Young birds here don't have to worry about predators, but they do have to keep an eye out on their brothers and sisters. Siblicide is a brutal occurrence in the bird world. Competition for food will sometimes lead to nestlings killing their siblings. Ibis are another kind of wading bird that nests here. Two species breed in the Garden State, the glossy and white ibis. The white ibis is typically a southern species that has recently begun to expand their breeding range further north. Their young almost look like a different species, with darker feathers and a ringed bill. They, like the egret chicks, constantly berate their parents for food. Ibis feed on aquatic invertebrates, fish, frogs, and sometimes even snakes. They do so by swinging their curved bills back and forth in the muddy water until they detect prey. Glossy ibis are darker, sometimes looking almost black. However, in the right lighting, their wings give off a metallic green coloration. Large nest platforms can be seen across the marshlands. It is here where the osprey nests. Ospreys are a smaller cousin of the bald eagle, designed for hunting fish. Soaring high, the osprey searches for unsuspecting prey. The dark mask around their eyes allows these birds to see through the water's glare and pinpoint a fish. Ospreys succeed 1 out of every 4 tries. It looks like this one will have to try again. Just past the marsh lies the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. The seashore is one of the most beautiful ecosystems on our planet, and many specialized animals call this place home. Birds quite literally flock to the shore every year in order to reap the bountiful food supply. Gulls are probably the bird that first comes to mind when you think about shore life. Despite the popularity of this name, there's actually no species called a seagull. Herring, ring-billed, greater blackback, and laughing gulls are the most common species you'll encounter on the Atlantic coast. Gulls are opportunistic feeders and will eat just about anything that can fit into their beaks. At low tide, what was once rolling waves is now mudflat. Crabs will bury themselves in the sand for protection from the elements and predators. These crabs are much larger than fiddlers and could cause serious injury or death if they go down the wrong way. This greater blackback gull meticulously tears apart the crab, feasting on the best meat. As the gull feeds, the sanderling keeps close, waiting for leftovers. The sanderling is what's known as a shorebird, a diverse group of small wading birds that are most commonly seen foraging the coast. Shorebirds usually have long beaks for probing around the mud in search of aquatic invertebrates, with plovers being the exception. The plover's shorter beak is better suited for picking off worms and insects closer to the surface. This plover is called a semi-palmated plover, named after their half-webbed feet. This lanky sandpiper is a yellowlegs, and it's not very hard to see where they get the name. This specific one is a greater yellowlegs. Despite being a fairly common and widespread species, the greater yellowlegs is one of the least studied shorebirds in North America, mainly because they like to nest in boggy bogs. The gull's smaller cousin, the tern, nests in these dunes. Sometimes referred to as sea swallows, these birds are fast and agile on the wing. The least tern is the one that I've had the most luck filming. Terns are fish eaters, with the least tern favoring sand eels. Further down the Atlantic coast, on the shores of South Florida, live one of the most unusual-looking avians, the brown pelican. Pelicans are stocky seabirds that inhabit America's coastal ecosystems. The most notable feature of the pelican is its large, expandable throat pouch, which is used to hold fish. Breaking away from the flock, this individual attempts to hunt for some prey. He seems to have caught something in his pouch, which will then be swallowed before any pesky gulls can steal it. A flock of royal terns watch from the shore. Soaring above the waves is the magnificent frigate bird. Despite being a species of seabird, frigate birds rarely land on the water due to the fact that they lack waterproof feathers. One interesting thing to note about these tropical seabirds is that they can sleep on the wing. Sometimes when they travel by night, half of the bird's brain will be asleep, while the other half will be awake. Next week, we'll go further inland and explore the lives of many other fascinating bird species, from the peculiar anhinga to the world's fastest bird. So be sure to subscribe and comment any questions you may have on birds.